Don't waste your time with yoga. I like that title. I forgot what it was. But a big part of that, like, don't waste your time with yoga, it came out of this idea of, like, there's so much that the practice of yoga could do for you. And it's like Hector says, it's like you won this lottery ticket, and then you don't go to the deli to cash it in. That's what it would be like if you wasted your time with yoga, you know? Like, I talk to a lot of my friends who don't do yoga, and I'm like, you know, and they ask me, like, what's the point? Some of them, and I tell them, right, the best I can, and then some of them do go, and then, you know, they start explaining to their friends about why they came, and it's like, oh, well, I go to yoga because I get a deeper stretch in my body, better joint health, and, you know, and that's great. The joints will still deteriorate. You know, like the deeper relaxation in your body isn't going to help you when you get sick. And some people say, oh, well, it's because, you know, I like chill out. And that's good. But are you doing yoga in a way that is going to prepare you for the toughest, most difficult periods of your life? Like, you know, when you get that really hard phone call, will it prepare you for that? You know, how good is the calm there? So I made this, so in efforts to help people not waste their time with yoga, I wanted to give like this, the 4 measurables. It's a practice. Can I go? Don't waste your time with yoga. So I wanted to provide the 4 measurables, the 4 limitless attitudes. My teacher's teacher calls it a pranayama. It's a mental exercise that could control the energy in your body, just thinking about it. You could use it when you're upset. You can use it when you're having a hard time. And so I wanted to talk about them and then talk about some of the biggest teachers for these immeasurables for me. Because, like, I think so long as you hold these to your mind along with your yoga practice, then, you know, then you have a chance. So let's go. Love, that's me and my mom. There was supposed to be animation. But yeah, that's me and my mom. And for me, she's a huge teacher of love. So her dad was like, she grew up in this really small town in Colombia, this really small town on the Caribbean coast, and her dad was like this like alcoholic cowboy that abandoned her before she was like 6 months. Well, she was like 6 months pregnant, or her mom was, and then her I think it was like a week after being born, her mom brought her to a neighbor's house and abandoned her too. And so, like, created a situation where nobody wanted her. And I know, you know, me and my mom talk, and that's something that still sits with her, you know, feeling, like, unwanted. And, you know, one thing, she grew up poor. She grew up poor on a dairy farm, but one thing she always said is, like, my kids will have a better life than I did. And so she moved to the United States, and she dedicated her life to serving others. The long story short is she spent most of her life in administering a domestic violence agency. At the same time, she had a second job translating in the emergency room before she helped neurodivergent kids find an education when they otherwise couldn't. And she loved me a lot. And so that's who I think about as like the primordial image teacher of love. Compassion. It's my dad, me, and my brother. He said He had a hard time of it too. I mean, he came to the United States, and he would wake up in the morning, he would go clean a parking lot in Kendo, and then he would go and deliver newspapers. At this point, it's like 5 in the morning. He woke up at 3:30. And then after delivering newspapers, then he would go to a community college. By the way, he's the only Latino in like small town North Carolina. And then he would go work in a restaurant, and then go to his night classes, and then do the same thing over and over again. And then once he got his degree, got a job, he really wanted kids. He met my mom, and he said he prayed so hard for kids that he ended up getting 2. And so that's me and my twin brother. And yeah, he worked tirelessly to make sure that we got the things that we needed, even when it was hard. And for me and he put up with that. He put up with the hard schedule and all the rest because he thought about his kids, right? And I think it's like that same it's that same feeling, that same desire to want to take the pain from other people that will give you a motivation to do whatever and to take on whatever. And I often thought of him during this training where I've had no time. Limitless joy, that's my grandma. Her name's Fifi. You don't know her, but she's praying for you. Every time I talk to her, every time I get on the phone with her, we pray just about, and I never not pick up the phone when she calls. Kayla knows this. And yeah, I think the biggest thing about limitless joy is you feel happy when other people are happy, and you want people to have the highest happiness, right? But what kind of happiness are you gonna give them? You know what I mean? It's someone can walk around into the room and be like, who wants the oat matcha and who wants the almond cappuccino? And then when you get it, you're like, sick. I'm tired. But in the end of the day, it's gonna finish, and your cup's gonna be empty, and you're gonna crash. And then you're going to have to find something to fill that void again. And so what is joy really? If it's limitless, what is joy? Well, what about that thing we talked about in the beginning? What about the idea that maybe because there's nothing that we could find that we could really hold on to as a self, or who we think we are, if the way that we perceive our world can change, so how much can it? Can we see about dying? Can we see about getting sick? Can we change that? Can we change aging? So then giving people that, I think, that's what my grandma thinks about. My grandma, her husband, my grandpa, he's 94, and he's losing it. He doesn't really remember what year it is, and she's confronted with death all the time. She thinks about it. She knows that it's coming, and she prays endlessly. She doesn't sleep. She sleeps maybe 2-3 hours, but she's praying. You won't catch her without a rosary in her hand, because she knows what's coming. She has a certainty, and she's praying. Something about Fifi. And equanimity, that's my twin brother Jonathan. A lot of you don't know him, and so it's hard for me to express, or I guess that's the task of how important he is to me. We were born together, but he's been my best friend for most of my life. We talk all the time, and they say that you start with love, and then when you're good at love, and you want other people to be happy, then you go to compassion. You wish you could take the suffering from people, and then you wish other people can be happy for real. Then it's okay, try that on everybody, And something that we use a lot here at Three Jewels is think about the fact that the person you're talking to has a best friend. And so this is my best friend, and sometimes in the harder moments, I'll think about the person that I'm speaking to as Jonathan. Yeah. Thanks.